They seem to. So this would explain a lot about such phenomena as, for example, Skinwalker Ranch. I don't know if you're familiar with that, Sheikh.
Yeah, I've watched the series on it.
It's a fascinating thing. I actually interviewed uh, one of the men who broke that story, one of the journalists who broke that story, who first wrote about it, and they had personally spoken to a tribal policeman who had been driving along the road one night and came across two individuals that were basically, they looked like dogs in trench coats and hats, smoking a cigarette and leaning against the fence, which is absolutely bizarre. But in
Yeah,
this context, it makes a certain amount of sense that
yeah.
perhaps the fabric around Skinwalker Ranch is weak, and it allows these jinn to come through and manifest. Is this?
No, it doesn't have to be weak at all. They have every right to manifest. It's for them like walking through a door, and their reality, because God created them as like an electricity with an enormous amount of knowledge, they can manifest as anything. They can manifest as a big cat head on a slim stick and walking down the street. They think that's their form of fashion. Their fashion is their imagination. Whatever they imagine they can appear as, because that's their form of fashion. So that's no restriction. So Bigfoot, of course, if the guy wants to appear as hairy, he walks around hairy in the bushes. But as soon as humans appear, then they try to veil themselves not to be killed, because if they get shot in that state, they're going to vanish from that. But at the same time, they understand the covenant. If they start to appear, then they've broke their covenant and they're no longer keeping the boundary of God, and their lifespans then will be shortened. And that's why we say the apocalyptic time is when the Antichrist comes, which we don't say Antichrist because that's just for Christians to think Antichrist. It means that the one whom comes to deceive all nations. So we have it in Islam that it is not the Antichrist, he's the deceiver. So Dajjal for us is called the deceiver. So he deceives every religious nation, every pocket of humanity, and he is of the jinn nature, and his armies are of the jinn nature. When they decide that they're going to show themselves and physically manifest themselves, then God gives command for the saints to attack and declare war against them. But for now they're hiding themselves, so it's just teaching and going out and teaching people on how to build themselves, how to nourish themselves and how to survive these difficulties. And this war that they talk about, it's not a physical war. The humans, they will attack each other and destroy each other because of the bad nature of the devils and the bad character. But what was important in the Lord of the Rings, this battle that's coming is from the unseen power. So when the humans were frail, what did they do? They went and asked for the allegiance of the king of the dead, and called them to come to be of service. And that's the same thing, when God rises and raises those whom have been given their spiritual realities, then it will be the unseen forces that come to the aid of humanity. Humanity by itself is very weak and unable to sort of survive that type of attack. So there's a lot that Islam and Sufism understand about the last days and Armageddon, and it has a lot to do with the jinn nations and their ability to manifest or not manifest. And so yes, it's a deep science for us.